Okay, so here we are to talk a little more about our render passes. And as you can see, I've just added a little mask here on the overlay masks and also on our render. That was just created simply by hitting this button here on your right side and just hitting your U to paint a shape, just selecting the mask and just painting like so. As you can see, I'm rubbing out. I'll just put that to 100%, and there we go. And I'll also grab black, and there you go. So what we'll start with is our V-Ray extra texture. And what this does is an ambient occlusion that just brings out the details. As you can see, I've set it here to 100. I will take that down and around something around 22, something of a compromise that's not too black on the trees, but also just reveals those little details, as you can see. So I've created a little mask also for the trees that, as you can see, it just means that I won't be painting as much on the trees. So I'll hit B for brush and I'll just paint around, just grab a nice soft brush, as you can see here, and I'll just keep painting around until I'm satisfied. So I will then go on to our Z depth, and our Z depth I will just hit here this button and I will invert it, and I will just out and click in the middle to get that, and they will link up to each other. I will set the overlay mode to lighten. So lighten, as you can see, nothing much has happened just because it's quite strong, and I would probably take that down a little more, and I might even add levels. What this does is basically just create, I'll level it. This creates depth. So what we'll see is just adding a little bit of depth. I'll just show you the before and after. So there you go. It's just adding a little bit of depth. I mean, we're so close in that we're not actually affecting it very much. And here we have the self-illumination. I'll just get rid of that. And self-illumination. So as you can see, self-illumination, I will put to screen, the blending mode, and you can see it's just brought out those lights much more. It's already adding quite an intensity to it. I would probably put that under our Z depth as to be affected by the depth in itself. Then I will also have our reflection, which I will probably set to screen. As you can see, it's lighting up everything quite a little more. So let's try something around there, just see how that reacts. Sometimes I may even want to brush, and I'll just grab that brush again, and I will start just painting where I don't need any. And just with a nice soft brush, I've increased, you can hit just the number pad and just on the top of your keyboard and just increase the opacity. And as you can see, I mean, it's working better now. I mean, just painting around, seeing where your eye sees fit, just thinking a little logically about things, knowing that here would be a little more reflective in this zone, so I'm not going to paint there. And I would be painting around here. Refraction, there we go. As we're quite high up, we don't quite get to see what's going on the inside, but nonetheless, I will just put in that refraction. As you can see, I do not work too close in because what I want to do is actually get the general picture. Like we spoke, details are not the most important thing. And I'm just moving on slowly to our V-Ray shadow, and V-Ray shadow is basically used to intensify the shadows. And sometimes, I mean, it's one of those things, I just tend to run through the modes, just trying to see what maybe could fit better or worse. We use V-Ray shadow to lighten up our shadows. So sometimes you get some overblowing shadows, and you can just light them up by putting it on screen mode. It's not going to work too well here, obviously, but I mean, in the future, if we actually need to use it, we can always come back to it. And then again, it also lets me select, if I just hit the selection tool on W, I can select, if I put it contiguous, and take off that mode that I had for the mask. If I just select there you go. If I take off contiguous, it's selecting more or less what's happening, and you can see there our selection. So Control D, we don't need that one for now. This is the inverted one that has our V-Ray lighting, and we can just fiddle around, see if we need it. Not really. And our diffuse feels if anything is overblown. I think that concludes everything for our overlay masks. I think we might actually start just getting into things and just trying to blend in things in the next lesson and trying to just make everything fit a little better and just adjusting everything and starting to play around with our image. So we'll see you in the next lesson.